Mike, first off, congratulations on getting the hire. Talk about the process of getting the job. Did Coach Fleck come to you, or did you talk to him at all? I mean, how did you get the job?
Well, it was, I've known Coach Fleck for the past, obviously, year. We ran into each other a couple times on the road when he was out recruiting. A couple times in Detroit, and obviously I had a tremendous amount of respect for him. You know, he knew the work that I did, and so it just kind of worked out when Coach Huff left. He called me, and it was a no-brainer.
What were your thoughts of Coach Fleck? Because you talked about meeting him last year. What were your thoughts when you first heard of this guy getting the head coaching job? 32-year-old, youngest coach in NCAA. What did you think of him initially?
Well, when he first got the job, I really had no clue, really anything about him. I didn't know him until I talked to him a couple times on the road, and that's when I kind of started to respect him. I knew the way he recruited. There's one kid I called last year. First day recruiting period, you can start calling at midnight, and I called him at about 6 a.m. And I was like, I thought I was gonna be his first call, and I said, any coaches called you? He said, yeah, Coach Fleck called me last night at midnight. And I said, wow. And and that's what kind of why they have the recruiting class that they have, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Before you took the job, were you aware that Coach Fleck was a GA for Ohio State during the during the season when it was 1-2 game of the century?
No, I wasn't aware of it. But as we talked about it, and it was crazy. I had a great team that year, and he has a great coaching career and coaching pedigree behind him.
What are your thoughts of Row the Boat? What does it mean to you so far?
Row the Boat. Obviously, I'm just starting to get into the program and exactly what it is. But obviously, it means a lot. It's special. It's what this program is built on. It's what their recruits know. Every recruit knows what RTB is. And it's something that I'm still learning, and it's something that's special. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not something that just, hey, this is what RTB means. And it encompasses a lot of things, and those are all the program details that I'm still learning at this point.
You've played for some legendary coaches, Lloyd Carr, Tony Dungy, Jim Caldwell. What have you learned from those legends that you can use as a coach now?
Well, I think you can always learn something from everybody, whether it's a legendary coach or not. But obviously, being young, I always knew I wanted to be a coach. So, just the way that obviously Lloyd handled himself, obviously that whole Bo Schembechler mentality, you learn that. Coach Dungy was a totally different way, and you learn that how you can do things and how you can talk to people and still get the same results. And then Coach Caldwell was kind of that same mantra, quiet, doesn't yell, doesn't scream, but still get respect. So I think that my coaching style right now is kind of a little bit of both. And I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I've only been coaching for 3 years, so every time I look at a coach, I always try to learn something. No matter if it's a head coach or an assistant coach, and no matter what they believe, no matter what they do, I think you can always take something from somebody.
What makes you a great coach?
What makes me? Well, I think that I was being young. Also, I think that I'm not too far removed from the game, and although I may not be the most experienced coach, I think I know what it takes. To get to the highest level. I played at the highest level, and I think a lot of kids want to get to that level, and being young, just leaving there, just being there, relating with the kids who are in college, I think that's what makes me a great coach, is that I can really relate with the kids, relate with the running backs. I played the position, and when I say something, it's they really have to respect it.
As a player, you were on a lot of successful teams. Your 2 years at Eastern Michigan, the records weren't as good as your time with Michigan and with the Indianapolis Colts. But how can you use that experience of being, on the top in one league, but at the same time at the bottom at another? How can you use that with these young men after going through a season where they only had one win?
I think I learned a lot myself. Yeah. It really challenged you as a person, as a man, as a young man, to fight through adversity. And bring it every day. And even though you go 1-11, it's not the record that's important. It's how you handle yourself, how you show up to work every day, how you practice every day. And the only way you can get better is by improving every day. And I think I've learned that the past 2 years, that it's not always your record. It's how you handle yourself, how you prepare, how you come, and how you do your job. Because that's the only way you can get better.
You've only been here for a little over a week now, but did you have any role in the recruiting class coming in? And what did you think of this, record-breaking recruiting class that Western will have next year?
I didn't really have a role. The last week I went and saw the running backs, obviously, but those guys were all already in the boat, and it was my job just to not mess it up. So that's what I tried to do, and I rode the train in, and I rode the boat in with them. Well, they finished it up. So they did a tremendous job. When I was at the other school, I was like, wow, how'd they get all these guys? And once you get here and you see the way Coach Fleck, talks and teaches, and just the other coaches and how passionate they are, you see why they got these great recruits and these great players. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. What
are your thoughts of the running back core that we'll have next year, especially being so young?
Well, obviously, I'm still getting to know the guys that are here. That's what's most important right now. But obviously, there's going to be 3 freshmen coming in that are going to be competing to play. There's no question about that. And I'm going to take care of the guys that are here, see what they can do. I'm going to learn about them in the spring. And the same thing when the freshmen come in, they're all going to be competing. So the one thing I'll tell you, there's going to be a lot of competition this year for that backfield spot, for playing time. And whoever does the best is going to play. Whoever the best player is going to play. I don't care if it's a freshman or a senior. Whoever works hard, knows what they're doing, and buys into what Coach Fleck wants. Those are the guys that are going to be on the field.
What are your goals that you're going to basically give to your running backs? What do you want to see your running backs do this season?
Goals are something you do as a team. Goals are something we'll do as a running back position. The number one thing I just want to see guys competing right now. With the guys that are here, I want to see guys that are competing, guys that are fighting, guys that are hungry, and that's going to translate into spring ball. And that's when the competition, the competition already started, but that's when the playing field competition is going to start, and that's going to go all the way up to the end of two-a-days. And as we get closer to those days, as all the backs get here, we'll start talking about what goals we want and what I expect from them, in order for them to play.
Still new to the city, still new to Western Michigan. What are your thoughts so far on Kalamazoo and Western Michigan University?
Kalamazoo right now reminds me of Syracuse, New York. A lot of snow. Thought I got away from it. That's why I moved from Syracuse. But no, obviously it's been a bad winter. But I'm telling you, the one thing I know is when I see these snow piles, it just reminds me of Syracuse, New York. But better than that, I think the campus is, it's beautiful. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. When you come here and you pull up, you really see the college campus. You really see the college community. You see the dorms. You see the college apartments. You see all those things. And I think it's something that's really nice. It's something I haven't had. And it's going to be special. It's going to be fun to recruit here.
All right, we're going to get you on this last question. But we all know that you were a running back. Who are the 5 best running backs of all time, in your opinion?
5 best running backs.
5 best running backs. No, you don't have to put them in order, but just the 5 best.
Obviously, so Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Earl Campbell, Adrian Peterson, and Jim Brown.